Future Esoteric, The Unseen Realms, 2nd edition. The Secret State. What is being withheld from us? Who is doing it? Their agenda, and why it matters to you. A peek behind the invisible veil. Author's Karma Statement. Quote, "You can easily judge the character of a person by how they treat those who can do nothing for them." End quote. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Quote, "Americans seeing things? UFOs in 4 states, as reported in the Alton, Illinois Evening Telegraph on August 2nd, 1965. Quote, "Authorities in Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Kansas were besieged last night and early today by reports of unidentified flying objects. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol said officers in 3 cars had seen the objects fly in a diamond-shaped formation for 30 minutes, and that Tinker Air Force Base had tracked 4 unidentified flying objects on radar at 22,000 feet. In Kansas, the Sedgwick County Sheriff Office said the Weather Bureau had tracked objects at 6,000 to 9,000 feet. One observer said the objects were, quote, red and exploded in a shower of sparks in nature, end quote. Viewers were probably seeing the planet Jupiter and the stars Rigel, Capella, Betelgeuse, or Aldebaran, which were in that part of the sky where the sightings were reported, the Air Force said, end quote. How many UFO reports just like this have come and gone for the better part of the last century without any serious discussion or agreement about what this phenomenon might be all about? The reason this article caught my eye is because it was a mass sighting in the Midwest on the very morning I was born in Chicago, Illinois. From the time I was a young boy, I had a fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial contact with us Earthlings. I drew illustrations of ETs and spacesuits and imagined the many possibilities and ways direct contact could manifest. Yet, nothing conclusive has transpired in my lifetime other than Hollywood movie depictions of good and bad ETs, usually interacting with armies, both intent on destroying each other. I went through intense periods of inquiry in my young adulthood, really just to satisfy my own curiosity, only to open new doors which led down split paths. As a young man in search of knowledge and truth, I traveled around the world for 3 years. As time went on, I discovered even more tantalizing clues that led me down different rabbit holes in an attempt to solve this deeply distorted enigma wrapped within a fear-based riddle. I have considered several theories. Perhaps the entire UFO phenomenon is merely a mass hallucination, as NASA and the armed forces have us believe. Are swamp gas, auroral sightings, satellites, planets, twinkling stars, or human terrestrial aircraft the best explanations we can elicit? What about the high strange incidents viewed by thousands, such as the Phoenix lights over 2 states in March 1997, or the millions of people worldwide who swear they witnessed something anomalous? How about an explanation of the other topics in the paranormal handbook, such as crop circles, cattle mutilations, and human abductions? Wouldn't any of this warrant the reopening of Project Blue Book or another governmental agency making a new inquiry? Are we all crazy or simply co-envisioning a new modern folklore, one that is collectively believed by millions of worldwide? Either the UFO phenomenon is the richest source of mythology since the ancient Greeks, or it is the biggest discovery of humans since fire. My suspicion has always been that certain USA agencies, like those who should have the task of informing us, are involved in this cover-up. Like any good detective, first I had to establish a motive. Who might be profiting from keeping UFOs secret? Second, the task of my detective work was to see through the apparent whitewash of information which denied verification of my own paranormal sightings. To this day, I remember what I saw with vivid clarity, especially a kind of awe moment, the kind of life-changing instant when time seems to stand still. It made such an impact that I had to reevaluate my own core beliefs. I wish I could have gone home and read about this close encounter or researched the topic just to learn what it was, but all we are given then was the official line of denial and ridicule for any paranormal claim. My encounter story goes like this. In mid-July of 1997, I was hiking with two fellow campers at the highest point of Crater Lake in Oregon, and the other two hikers both verified this exact description. We recall seeing an intensely bright, exactly straight beam of white light in broad daylight approaching the depths of the lake. About 200 meters above the crater, the slowly moving, streaking light transitioned from a solid beam into blips of perfectly square lights, still moving at the same speed in the sky before completely disappearing. After it passed, the three of us fell to the ground laughing in sheer amazement. We began racing to catch up with the other three in our group, but unfortunately none of them had witnessed what we did because they had already entered the woods. Before we got to the trees, only moments later, the three of us saw another beam of light lasting several seconds, moving in the direction of Mount Shasta, some 50 kilometers away in California. Two unbelievable sightings within 5 minutes. It was a moment that solidified my lifelong quest to discover everything that we are not allowed to know. This quest would become the Esoteric Series of books. Chasing down the truth. It became obvious long before I started creating the notes that would become this book that there was something very large at hand. There were too many unanswered questions, too many blatant denials, too many lives lost or lives irrevocably changed. I made it my duty to examine every side to every issue I present in these chapters, attempting to pin down at least 3 data points discussing the same information, no matter how disturbing or bizarre the end result may seem. My vetting process for compiling the data in this book was simply to creating reviews in the Zagat guides, looking for at least 3 similarities and then condensing the information down even further for easy reading. My goal was to combine all the related concepts, recognize clear patterns, and then synthesize the data into a concise format that anyone with a basic education could understand. Despite the format of an understandable synthesis, most of the topics in this book also will breed skeptics, with their websites devoted to debunking this subject matter. But if there were not debunkers, this information would not be considered esoteric. I have no agenda other than to pass on the most accurate and truthful information I could find. I have never taken a security oath to the military or any government agency, because neither I nor anyone else has ever questioned my patriotism. I am merely a collector and compiler of anything weird or esoteric. As for UFOs, I noticed there have been far too many sightings for which the authorities had no plausible explanation. It became obvious that we were either being observed by some sort of advanced beings coming in from outer space, or possibly flying with interdimensional vehicles based right here on Earth or within our solar system, or some scientific group on Earth which had discovered a principle of physics unknown to the rest of us, and that secret research was being employed. More than likely, it was a combination of all three of the above possibilities. The more layers of the onion I peeled away, the deeper the mystery became. Meanwhile, after signing the 2011 petition asking the Obama administration to acknowledge an extraterrestrial presence here on Earth, the reply was as follows, quote, "The U.S. government has no evidence that any life exists outside our planet, or that an extraterrestrial presence has contacted or engaged any member of the human race. In addition, there is no credible information to suggest that any evidence is being hidden from the public's eye." End quote. The same smokescreen used to deflect public interest in UFOs continues to this day. It seems we live in a society that is devoted to denying the existence of anything it cannot understand. However, other former U.S. presidents have given us hints that the UFO phenomenon is real. Quote, "I know some, I know a fair amount," said George Bush Sr., replying to a question in 1988 about UFOs while campaigning to become president. He also said in a 1988 debate with Dukakis, quote, "I am very careful in public life about dealing with classified information." End quote. Jimmy Carter admitted to seeing a UFO. Some people seem to think that throwing the word debunked around means that debunking has succeeded. Actually, the vast majority of debunking scenarios have more holes than the conspiracy theories they're meant to silence. The debunkers construct just enough of a shell to help those who really don't want the truth to be true to carry on believing that it's not. The debunkers provide temporary refuge, once again, for those fearful of new ideas. By way of a disclaimer, never take what another says to you as truth, especially the contents you will encounter in this audiobook. Believe nothing and question everything. Your purpose here, if you are to resonate with this material, is to find your own truth. Sometimes others can help you by offering guidance, but for their truth to become your truth, it must pass through the test of your own personal discernment. Sit quietly in meditation and ask the voice inside you to guide your path. Meditate upon that which you will read in these pages and listen to your inner feelings. They are the language of your soul. A note on conspiracy theories. In common usage, a conspiracy is the combined beliefs held by a group of people, not only based on lack of evidence or lies, but with an implied negative intent or message. The phrase conspiracy theory is usually used as a negative label to discredit a set of beliefs, which are regarded as creatively invented, made up due to naivete or an overactive imagination, or due to a pathological condition such as paranoia. On the other hand, the use of the term conspiracy can be regarded as a truth in labeling device when it is used to describe a calculated cover-up of truthful events, that is, a cover-up of information to which the public is entitled. In this case, there is a double conspiracy. Number one, the carrying out of calculated, malevolent, truthful events, parading as accidents or well-intended decisions. Number two, an enormous matrix of devices to cover up number one. In this book, I use the term in this twofold way. Additionally, I have long believed that the public is entitled to this information. To further clarify terminology, the secret global cabal, which I describe in detail, behind all elected governments maintains absolute secrecy, which can legitimately be called a conspiracy of silence. This is a conspiracy or a truth embargo, which I and many others wish to disclose, to bring to light events which have occurred and continue to occur, so that all citizens have access to vital information and can draw their own conclusions. Such efforts as mine and others are then labeled conspiracy theories, which is an attempt by the labelers to quickly dismiss and discredit the evidence in this book and all of its documentation. My response to these folks is that they are either uninformed, frightened, or likely both. A powerful mix for fostering denial and maintaining the status quo. Unfortunately, this is the way we as human beings keep intolerable levels of fear, at least manageable, and this knowledge of human nature is the way the perpetrators of the double conspiracy hope to keep us subdued. I hope this book will help us to stare down the fear, walk through it boldly, and discover the truth. Earth's Dilemma. Here I reveal the book's conclusion at the very beginning. It is my sincere wish that we evolve higher together and overcome the collective obstacles that affect our planet and our collective well-being. This is also the end of my writing in the first person until the final chapter. I created this book to be a research project, not merely a forum for expressing my theories and opinions. It has nothing to do with me. It is about us. So here we go. Earth's Dilemma is a scenario in which our current government, or those who secretly rule those who govern, is complacent in keeping the global population in a deep sleep. Yet each one of us has free will. Each one of us is a free soul, and each one of us possesses a free consciousness. This is your life, and all life is precious. Do what you love, do it often, and never forget you have the freedom of choice. If you don't like something, change it. If you don't like your job, quit. If you don't have enough time, stop watching TV. If you are looking for the love of your life, stop looking. He or she will be waiting for you when you start doing the things you love. Stop overanalyzing, since linear thinking can get in the way of deeper intuitive knowing, such as an intuition needed to understand the subject of the unseen realms. Life is simple. When you eat, appreciate every last bite. Open your mind, arms, and heart to the new things and new people. Our differences are superficial. Ask the next person you see what their passion is and share your inspiring dreams with them. Travel often. Getting lost will help you find yourself. Some opportunities only come once, so always seize them. Life is about the people you meet and the things you create with them. So go out and start creating. Life is short. Live your dream and share your passion. We must strive to be at peace with ourselves and with all people, so we may mutually create a utopian society. If this scenario is possible, maybe it would go something like this. Mutual respect is imperative to an interconnected consciousness. It will be difficult for some of us to come to terms with our own potential while leaving others behind. We must all mutually ascend together. Be as close to nature as possible. Just take it on faith right now that we are the only advanced sentient species that uses a monetary currency. We are the only advanced civilization that allows our own species to be homeless or to die of starvation. We are made to pay to live on a planet we are born into. We have fought wars over power, territory, material goods, and money. Humans have shamefully destroyed other species. All this chaos arises over valuing wealth and control. How do we move to the next paradigm? How can we transcend Earth's dilemma? The governments currently running the show on Earth have failed us. The real governing bodies are entities we really don't want to meet. We are living through a period of great awakening. The people of our world are beginning to open their eyes and realize the stunning depth of the scams and collusion taking place all around them. These scams steal the wealth, poison them with chemicals, enslave them with financial trickery, and control their minds with propaganda. These scams are the very fabric of modern government, the mainstream media, universities, and the so-called science institutions. All of our institutions have been infiltrated and exploited, and only now is the astonishing treachery of this infiltration being exposed as it really is. The Great Awakening taking place will give us the power to see right through the lies in a new age of transparency. All you need is love. What does it take to change the essence of a man or a woman? We need to examine ourselves from within. Many of us have completely lost our way. We all want to be aware of the changes occurring around us. Sometimes harsh reality is better given in small doses. We're afraid to let go of the old ways. Some will even fight to preserve the old ways just because it is so familiar. It can be overwhelming to create a new realm of knowing. Every day there are little things we can do to advance ourselves. Be thankful when you wake up that you're alive. Be friendly to all those around you, even strangers. Tell your children and your immediate family every day that you love them. Offer sincere blessings for the little things in life. From the food you eat to an ambulance screaming by with someone in physical pain. Exercise compassion for others. By doing this, we magnetize our surroundings with the vibration we put into the world around us. Little things that we can do, or the thoughts we have, really do make a difference. Change the frequency, and over time, you'll experience attitudes transformed by gratitude. Remember where you are and don't forget who you are. My mantra for the last 2 decades has been, quote, I am a master here to co-create heaven on earth, end quote. We can indeed achieve what we ask for. If there is to be a oneness of humans with cosmic consciousness, or what some conceive of as God, then that divine connection must be love. Humankind can usher in a transcended age by expressing love and kindness towards each other and to the world. For each of us, the mere thought of doing harm to any living creature will someday become repugnant. We need to become incapable of violent acts. Personal ethics and morality should be of the utmost importance. In this way, we take a vow of love, morals, respect, and altruism, which will guide our every action. An initiate might start today by making the goal of seeking wisdom, practicing kindness, and embracing compassion. The love that you withhold is the pain that you carry. This is a judgment we place upon ourselves. Lifetime after lifetime, it goes on and on until we learn the lesson. We've all made decisions to withhold love, but we can also choose not to withhold love. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. In the end, all that matters is how much you have loved and how you loved. Love is the absolute truth. Remember this maxim and reread this passage if the contents of this book seem frightening or make you angry. There are great injustices in the world, but they can all be resolved. Love is the absolute truth. Only when humans renounce all violence, stop all wars, share all resources, and fully embrace love can we raise the vibration of our planet. When this happens, a new dawn on earth will arise, and the exterior manipulations will end forever. Love is the solution to all of our problems. If we can collectively join together and insist on our right to freely evolve, the tyranny of oppressive governments will lose power, and a new power will transform all of us simultaneously for the first time. Yours in transformation, Brad Olsen, San Francisco, California, August 2nd, 2012.